Hey, hello everyone. How are you all doing? I am excited today because I am gonna do something that I haven't done for a while, and that's code. So I'm really excited, and we are gonna create our own personal blog. So let's do this. I want to know from you all which technology you want to go with. So I am thinking something around Next.js or Gatsby. What do you all want to see me code in today, and what do you want to learn today? Just let me know, and we'll start coding in one of these, maybe Next.js or Gatsby. In the meantime, how many of you already have How many of you already have a personal blog? If you do have a personal blog or your own website, just drop it in the chat so that other people can also, check your website and follow you as well. Awesome. I see. Number one ceiling fan has already shared his website. It's pretty good. Thank you for sharing it. Okay. Folks, one last time. Any preference in what we want to do today? Do you want to code in Next.js or do you want to use Gatsby for this? Okay, so since I am trying to learn Next.js and get better at that, I'm gonna go ahead with Next.js. So let me add my screen. Awesome. So Next.js, if you all don't know, is based on React. And again, if you don't know React, React is a JavaScript framework for building front end, and it's very popular. A lot of companies use React in their applications, and React is built and managed by Facebook. So you can imagine all the apps of Facebook use React under the hood. So what we are gonna do is we are gonna follow the instructions that they have mentioned on their documentation and see how quickly and how fast we can build our website. Okay, so I'm gonna skip through all this part, but I would recommend you all to go and understand the philosophy behind Next.js and how it makes it easy to build React apps from scratch. Okay, for the setup, I already have Node.js installed, so I think I'm good to go. All I have to do is create a Next.js app using this particular command. So this looks really exciting. So what this app does is let's try to understand what it does. So we are using the npx command to create a next app. So create next app is is a CLI basically that allows us to create Next.js application, right? But we aren't installing that application local. Sorry, that CLI package locally. We are asking npm to get it, fetch it, uh, run it locally on our machine, and then basically not install the package, right? The Next.js blog is the name of our the project folder, and we are specifying what package manager we want to use. So if you know Node.js, now there are two different package managers. One is Yarn and the other is npm. So we are just telling Next.js to use npm, and then we are just passing on a template over here. So this is good. So we have a template, so we won't have to struggle with the CSS, which I always do. All right, let me quickly get the checking link that you all are asking for. Just give me a sec. Hmm. All right. So let me get the checking link for you all. In the meantime, go ahead if you don't have Node.js installed, go ahead and install Node.js. quickly, you can just Google it, Node.js, and the first link would probably take you to the installer. Just follow the steps and install Node.js on your machine. All right, so I am gonna start with running the command. Just let me know if the screen is too small, right? And I can zoom in for you all. So again, I'm just running the create next step command, or maybe before that, let me switch to a project folder, which would make it easy for us to navigate around. In the meantime, folks, if you have a website, do share it with everyone. Let me share mine website as well. This is the website that I've. This is my own personal website that I built, and it's built on Next.js. All right, so we have run the command, and now it should install the package. It should build us the project repo. So I'm gonna move on to the next step, and the next step is to run the development server. So before doing that, we need to go into the project folder. That's what the change directory command does. It takes us to the project folder, and then we run the command npm run dev. This would start the development server, and by default, the Next.js app opens on localhost 3000, the port 3000. But you can obviously change the port. Awesome. So our project is already created. The other thing that you all should know is I just copied and pasted the command, right? But over here you can change the name of uh, this particular project. So for now I'm just using Next.js desk blog, but you can call it your own blog as well. So maybe this can be Herschel-blog or simply Herschel or simply blog, right? So you don't have to follow everything, and as well as you can change this particular uh, command as well. Sorry, not the command but the link. So this is the link for one of the starter packs, and there are a lot of starter packs there. I see there's a question, where do we write a blog? That's a really good question. So there are a lot of platforms that you can use where you can write the blog. So a lot of folks already write their blogs in Markdown. So if you're not aware about Markdown is basically an extension, .md. If you have used GitHub, it's readme.md. So that's again a Markdown. So a lot of people write their blogs in plain Markdown and then host it on GitHub. Let's see what this particular starter does. So server is running. Let's go and see how it looks like. Awesome. So we have the basic Next.js application up and running. So yeah, we have this up and running. So I'm going to move forward. Now editing the page. So this is exciting. So you can see that we have openindex.js. Okay. And there are some h1 tags. And the next step is creating pages. So let's go ahead and take a tour of the Next.js application. So if you see over here, we have a couple of folders, right? So there is the pages folder where we will be creating a new pages. And this is something that I really like about Next.js is this is something I like about Next.js is that you don't have to specify the routes. If you just create a page inside the pages folder, it will automatically set the route for you, and you will be out of the box. Your page will start working. The next is the public folder where you can, store your all public assets like the favicon, the images, and then there is the git ignore file which contains all the the basically all the files that the git should ignore. And packet.json contains the information about all the packages that we are using, and then readme basically contains the information around the readme file. I thought we have to submit a personal blog if we have any, like on Medium or Hashnote. I also think that, yeah. So you can submit and you can do that, but we also want people to get started with building their own blog, and that's why we are going through step by step, creating their own personal blog. I hope that answers your question. Awesome. So let's go ahead and check out what is in index.js. So I'm gonna go on index.js, and there are a couple of interesting things happening over here. So this basically contains all the information that we saw earlier, right? And there is this a lot of CSS which I'm not gonna touch at the moment. But so there are a couple of things. The head contains the title, awesome, and then the main contains all the information that is being displayed over here. So let's start the server once again. And it's up and running. Let me bring it down. Yeah. I'm just gonna quickly refresh this so that you all know that we are on the fresh server. And now if you can this particular text is welcome to Next.js. Let's just try to, change this. I'm gonna call it hello MLH and remove this tag. If I save this, you can see we get hot refresh here as well. So we don't have to change, close the server, restart the server, and then look for the changes. So that's the beauty of Next.js, or basically React. So now what we are gonna do is we are gonna create a new page. Again, I'm gonna skip through all these things. I am not gonna read all these things, but I would highly encourage you all to read it because it helps you understand how Next.js actually works. So you see in Next.js, it says that we can create pages. So pages, post, and then first post, which would be basically route to post first hyphen post. So this is good. So what we are gonna do is we are gonna create a post directory which will contain all our posts. So in here, I'm gonna create a new file which would be under a directory called post. And this is gonna be a first post.js. I'm gonna quickly copy and paste the code from here and make some changes. So I don't want the head at the moment over here. So I'm just gonna comment this out. And instead of hello MLH, let's call this is my first post. And then I'm gonna remove all the other information. And then if we go over here, right now it's just hello MLH. But if I go to post slash first post, this takes me to my first post, right? So this is really good. So I don't have to, create this routes manually. So Next.js handle that for me. Subham Twitch 2000 is asking, can we please get the GitHub repo for this at the end? Yeah, definitely. I'll share the GitHub repo at the end as well. I built a blog on WordPress for this challenge. Is it acceptable? Yeah, WebSim, it is acceptable. And don't worry, it's completely fine. I also built a blog on dev.to. That's amazing. So here's a challenge for you all. Since you already have kind of, your backend ready for your for your blog, right? So someone is using WordPress, someone is using dev.to, someone has it on Medium or Hashnote, right? So what I would like you all to do is build a front end which would fetch these articles from this particular platform, maybe dev.to or your own WordPress or Hashnote, and then render it the way you want it to render, right? That is something that's really exciting, and I would like to see what you all come up with. So moving forward, we created a first post and everything is working at the moment. So let's go ahead and move on. So now we want to link this particular post, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import this particular module, right? So again, Next.js gives us, Next.js already has a few packages with it. So I'm just going to use one of them. So I'm going to go to index.js. I'm going to import link. And then now, this contains a lot of information which I don't want. So I'm going to remove them. Right. And let's have a link inside the div. And we are going to call it link. And where should it link to? I think I'm doing something wrong over here, but let's try. This should link to post slash first hyphen post. First post. Gonna save it and hopefully this should work. Let's see. Awesome. So we got a error over here. So the prop href. Okay. So instead of 2, I have to use href. Href. Save this and okay, awesome. So this is working. If I go to first post, it takes me to my first post. So this is interesting. So now this is something that we can use when we are building our blog, right? So we get the data from any platform or maybe from our markdown files, right? And then and then create a kind of list for those blog posts, and then when we click on that, it takes you to that particular blog post. So that's amazing. So that's something that we can now do and move forward with. Hey, Aminos 19. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but hey. Cool. So we have now our blog, our first post, and it is asking us to create a back to home link, which I'm not gonna do at the moment. Right. Awesome. So I'm gonna just move forward and see about client-side navigation. Now I'm gonna not go deeper into this. Right. This is a kind of a whole different live stream in itself. So I'm gonna skip this and move forward. But again, I encourage you to go through the documentation and read to understand how Next.js works. Assets, metadata, and CSS. Again, I'm gonna skip this because I am kind of not interested in this particular part. Right. So I'm just trying to look at the places where we can data fetching. Awesome. So static generation. Okay, that I know already about. This is the same that we are using. Pre-rendering. That's cool. So again, with Next.js, you can do both static side generation as well as server side rendering. So this is really really useful, and you can have a combination of both. So let's just say a particular component of your website does static generation, while the other component is server side rendered. This is really helpful when you are building your own web applications using Next.js. That's awesome. So I'm gonna skip this again. So what we want to do is we want to reference this particular part over here. Right. So we want to get the static props. We're gonna use this particular function to fetch the information. So I'm just wondering, how do we get started with Markdown? Okay, so we have a blog data. So that's good. So inside, create a top level directory called posts. Awesome. And then we can create two files, pre-rendering.md and ssg/ssr.md. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to create a directory called post. which would contain our blog post or basically our articles. I have now post, and this would contain a new file. I'm just gonna call it first post.md. Again, MD stands for markdown. So this is the front matter over here. So we have the title and the date, and then the next is the whole content of our article. So if you view the MD file, you would never see the front matter. So front matter basically, is the place where you store all the metadata about your article or about your markdown file. So I'm going to create another one. We are going to call this second post.md. And over here, I'm just going to quickly grab the links, sorry, the article content, paste it over here. So we now have two articles with us. Looks good. The next thing is, how do we render this out, right? So if I go to my website at the moment, and if I go to post, and then we already have a file that calls first post. So if I do second post, we got a 404, right? Because one, it isn't in the pages directory, right? And second, we are not fetching it in a way. So now what we are gonna do is we are gonna use the get static props function over here to get the information of our blog. The another interesting thing is the gray matter package. So this helps us to pass the metadata for each markdown file. Again, the metadata is all the information that you store between these dashes over here. So I'm gonna again close the server, install gray matter. And while it's installing, let's see what we have to do next. Okay, so next we have to create a simple. Doesn't look so simple to me, but yes, we so what this is doing. Let's try to break it down and try to understand what this is doing. So the fs is the file system. The path is basically the module which will give us the path of the directory. So we are using all these packages to get the information of our files, right? So the post directory is basically getting us the directory of our post. Then the get sorted post data. So this is a function which would sort the post data that it's coming that we are going to read soon, right? And then the file names, again, we are reading it from the post folder. So this would be first post, second post, those will be the file names. And then all post data. So this is now getting the post data. So if you see over here, the comments over here, it says remove.md from the file name to get id, right? We don't want .md every time. We just want the file name. So that's what we are doing over here. And read the markdown file as a string. So this is something kind of important at this moment. We need to read it as a string. So we are doing it in this particular part. And now we are using here gray matter. So we imported gray matter as matter. We imported matter from gray matter, and we are using it to get the metadata, right? And then we are returning the ID and the result of the metadata. So this would contain the title of a blog post as well as the date and any other information that we have in a front matter. Awesome. And what we are doing, so we are then basically sorting it out based on the date. So I hope this code is a bit clear now to everyone. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new file inside the library directory. And this is going to be post.js. So we now have this. So what we have to do next is we need to add an import. Awesome. So we already created a function that would fetch all this information. Right now, what we are going to do is we are going to use this information in index.js to display the list on index.js basically. So let's go to index.js. I am gonna now add this code. Again, we need the get static props. So let's just add import that as well. Import get static props from where do we import it? Okay, so we don't have to import get static props. That's interesting. I'm not sure about that. Anyone, any idea? Do we need to import get static props or we don't? All right, so I'm gonna save this and I am waiting for your reply because I'm not sure if we need that or not. I'm gonna again start the server. Okay, so the server is running. Uh, all right, so I'm just gonna. This is the same thing. So this is working fine, right? We haven't got any error over here, so I think this looks good for the moment. So let's see what do you want to do next. So we are returning the props all post data. So we want to also get it over here. So I'm just gonna restructure this all post data. So we have this. Now we want to get the information from this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just print out this information that we are getting to understand how it is working. Hmm. Okay, let's do this. Console.log. Save this. Open my dev tools. I'm just going to quickly refresh this. I'm not sure if it is gonna show something. No. Okay. Huh. Interesting. Once again, folks, I am also learning with you all. So definitely I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes today. Cool. So this looks good. Okay. So we need to then have hmm, a class that would render this list. Awesome. So I'm just gonna quickly paste it over here, and then we'll understand what is happening over there. I don't want a footer at the moment, so I'm just gonna remove that. Well, okay. So over here we have an ordered list, and I'm not gonna explain the class name over here, but yeah, the all post data dot map. So we are basically now mapping through the array of all post data, right? We are getting the ID, the date, and the title, and then we for each of this we want to get an li, what that is a list item element, right? And we are passing on the key ID. So in React, if you are in React and in Vue, right? If you are rendering data in this way, you have to always specify the key to uniquely identify that particular element. Then we are printing the title, the ID, as well as the date. So I'm gonna save this and let's hope this works. Awesome. Okay, so we got an error because of styling. So I'm just gonna remove that. This. Awesome. So if you see over here, we got the first post. The ID for that is okay. Sorry, this is the second post. So the ID for that is second post. Awesome. And we also got the date. We got another post that's basically a first post and the date as well. So if you see over here, it is in an ordered fashion. So everything is working fine. But if I click over here, nothing happens. We are not being navigated to our to a blog post article, right? So let's see what we have to do next. So we everything looks good over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm again going to go back to my documentation and see what is wrong. Fetch external API or query database. So this is something that you would be doing, if you are getting your blog post articles from maybe dev.to, Hashnode or any other platform, right? So if I take you to my website, I use Ghost is again a CMS for blogs, right? So I am using Ghost for the backend. So all my articles, all the information around them is stored in Ghost. But again, as I mentioned earlier, this website is built in Next.js. So I am using Next.js to fetch this information and then render it on the website. So if you see, it fetches the information from Ghost and then it renders it on the website. So this is something that you would have to do if you are building your own blog, which uses a different platform for hosting your content. So let's move forward. Fetching data at request time. That's something that we are not doing at the moment, but I can give you an example of this as well. So I kind of give a few talks here and there, right? And all my talks are in a YouTube playlist that is again called talks. So what I do is now I don't want to manually, keep on updating it, right? So whenever I give a talk, I just add it to my YouTube playlist, and it automatically gets shown on my website, right? So what I'm doing over there is I'm using the get server side props, which makes a query to the YouTube's API, and then it displays the content over there. But if I would be using get static props, what it would do is I would have to build it every time a new talk is getting added on on my playlist. So if I show you over here, and if I go to talks, all these talks are being added kind of dynamically. So if I add a new talk to my playlist, if I just quickly refresh this, it would be shown on my website. So I don't have to build my website again. Okay, so I'm gonna now move forward. Dynamic routes. So this is really interesting. Dynamic route is because if you see over here in our website, we have two uh, posts, right? And it does not make sense to have a separate .js file of each of these posts because let's just say we have hundred of articles, right? So we won't be creating hundred of GS files for each of these articles. We only want one GS file, which would basically render all these articles for us. And this is where dynamic routes come into place. So we already got the starter code, so I'm going to move forward. Page path depends on external data. Yeah, this is what is happening in our post, right? Path is depending on external data. So first we'll create a page called id.js under pages posts. So this is what I'm going to do under pages post. I am going to create a new file. And if you make sure that if you want to create a dynamic route, you use this square package over here. So id.js. So I got that. The next thing is import layout from components. Do we have that? We don't have that, so I'm just not gonna import that. Uh, but let's. But I'm just gonna create a component, and instead of layout, and I'm gonna return a div, and inside this, let's just return an h1 tag. Simple hello. So now, how does our page know which path to move forward to, right? And this is where we are going to use the get static path function. Now we need to implement get static props again, and this time to fetch the necessary data for the blog post with a given id. So earlier in index.js we were using get static props to just get the post data, which was the id, the name, and the date. But now in id.js, we are going to use get static props to get the actual content as well. So let's just copy and paste this. And If you're wondering why I'm just copying pasting it, trust me, coding is 75% of copying and pasting it from different websites, and only 25% of it is you actually, coding something yourself. So it's completely fine if you are, if you think copying and pasting is a bad thing. It actually isn't, because I've been working with different clients, and now I also have a full-time job. But that is what I have learned throughout. So it's completely fine if you copy and paste your code. So we want to get the file names, and I really like the documentation over here. It explains us what would be written. So it returns the ID over here. Awesome. So we want that. So that's good. So let's get the file's name, and this would be on the static patch. No, okay. Export function get all post IDs. Okay, so we are again creating a new function in post.js. So this is good. So we don't have to create this function each and every time we want to get this information. So I like this approach. Also, folks, feel free to ask me any questions if you have. I would love to try and answer your questions and help you understand this better. So we have a function get sorted post, and we have another function that's get all post IDs. Nice. So we have to import this in our id.js file. So I am gonna import it over here. For everyone who already has a blog post, uh, do share the links if of them. It can be either on dev.to or Medium or Hashnote, right? Just feel free to share it over here so that other people can learn something new from you as well. Cool. So we have this function. So now in this get static path, I have to do is copy and paste this again. So we'll try to understand what is happening over here. So let's go back to. I'm gonna close this. Post.js. Yeah. In post.js, we are getting the post IDs, right? We are using the fs module over here to get the post directory. So as the document says, it returns the ID that is the name. So for us, this would be first post and something like second post, because that's what is the name of a file. And then we are returning the file names, and we are making sure that we replace the .md, the extension .md, right? And that we are storing it in the ID. The next is we are now using this function in our id.js to get basically all the IDs, right? And we are storing this ID in a variable called path. We are returning path in a fallback if there is a fallback. If there's something goes wrong, do we need a fallback? And for now, we are stating it to be false. So the next thing is implement static props. Awesome. So implement static props. So what it does. So again, we have to do something in open.js. Sorry, post.js, and get post data function at the bottom. It will return the post data on ID. Huh. This is interesting. So I'm just gonna take a look at our post.js again. So we have got sorted post, which returns the post that is displayed on our index page. We have got all post ID, which gives us the ID of all the posts, which would be used in the routes. And then we have the get post data, which would give us the post data. So this is really good. So let's try to understand now what this particular chunk of code does. So full path, again, it gives us the whole path. Awesome. The file content. Now this gives us the content of the file, the actual content, right? And then we are again using gray matter to pass the metadata, and then we are combining this data with an ID. I'm going to save this. Again, this is a function that we have created, we have defined. We will be using it in id.js. So we need to get import get all post IDs. So I'm just going to import, already we have that, so I'm not going to import that, but we want to import get post data. Get post data. And let's just copy this, the whole thing, and paste it over here. So now let's try to understand what is happening, right? So the get static props is taking a parameter, and over here the parameter we are basically passing the ID. Now this ID is then passed on to the get post data. Now if we go to get post data, the get post data gets the path for the particular blog post. Let's just say, for example, first post.md, right? It will read the content from the post, and then it will also get the metadata, and then we are just getting returning the ID as well as the result that we just fetched. And this is being returned in this particular function again. So we are returning the props post data. So now we have to pass post data, give it a title. Okay, I'm just gonna copy this and replace it over here. And let's just do post data. And I see a mistake over here. So instead of double brackets, I have to use a single bracket. Done that. Save this. And awesome. So just suggest us to try out and go visit these pages. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Try it out. So we have post. The first post I am assuming will result into a conflict. So I'm gonna go to second post for now and see what it does. Awesome. So we got the second post, right? We got the title, we got the ID, and we got the date. But why we are not getting the content? That is interesting, right? So we wanted to get the content, but we are not getting the content over here. So let's see how we can get the content. So to get the content again, just to remind you all, we are using Markdown, right? So we have to pass this Markdown so that our browser understands what the content is. And so for that, we are going to use Remark and Remark HTML. These libraries will allow us to pass Markdown as an HTML, which our browsers do understand, right? Our browsers understand HTML. Hey, Rublin Core, how are you doing? Also, folks, just let me know on Twitter as well what you are building, what tech stacks you are using to build your own blog. So you can just tweet. Don't forget to tag MLH at the rate MLHacks, and don't forget to tag me as well. Awesome. So our library is installed. So I'm going to clear this, start the server once again. For everyone joining in right now, let me do a quick recap of what we are doing. So we are trying to create our own blog using Next.js, right? And we kind of have almost been able to get the information of our blog, the metadata. So if I quickly show you how our blog looks like, let me go back. So this is the first page of our blog, right? We have the title of our blog, the ID of the blog, and the date when it was published. And this is the second this is the information of our second article, right? And currently they are not linked to any particular uh, page, right? But if I go to, let's just say, post slash second post, it takes us to the second post article, and gives us information about that. But again, it is not providing us the information around the actual article, right? So this is something that we are going to do next. We are going to get that actual article. So this particular information, that's Next.js has two forms, blah, blah, blah. And similarly for second post as well. But before doing that, I'm just going to delete the first post.js. Just going to delete it from here because I'm not using it. Move to trash. Awesome. So let's see how we can use remark and remark HTML. So it again suggests us to use it in post.js that we created earlier. Cool. So let's do that. So I'm going to import it over there. One of the reasons to divide it in different files is to make it reusable. So we could have done a few of this in each individual file. So let's just say we could have get written the get all post IDs in this id.js file as well. But let's just say we want to get this information from for other page as well. Then it wouldn't make sense to write the same function again and again. And that's why we have one particular function, one particular file which contains that function, and whenever we need it, we just import that. And we have to update the get post data function. So look, that looks good. So this is the meta result. So we already had the meta result. Okay. So this is what we need. And then we also need to pass on content HTML. All right. So let's try to understand now what is happening over here. So we have a processed content and we are using await over here. So we are basically waiting to, waiting for remark to complete the whole process. And then we are, whatever result we get, we are sending it to content. We are storing it in content HTML, right? So let's just see. So we want to convert it to HTML. So we are using the HTML parser over here. And what we need to process. So we want to process the content that is that we are getting from the file, right? So this looks good. I am gonna save this. And the next thing we want to pass on this content. We want to basically show this content on our page. So let's see how we can do that. So get post data, await. Okay, yeah, this makes sense because we are awaiting, we are waiting for this particular function to return some information. So we have to add await here as well. Okay, it's already an async function. That's good. So we now have to basically need this particular line of code. Let's just inject it and I'll explain you what it does. Save this, come back to our website, and let's just go to second post, and hopefully it should give us the result, but it didn't. Amazing. So we did something wrong over here, I think, and that's why we are not getting the information. Let's see. Get post data, params.id, we do have that. And content HTML, dangerously sad. We have that as well, but for some reason it's not working for us. Anyone who can help me out over here? No result over here. Let's just check the console. Expected show HTML to contain a matching div and div. Interesting. No. This looks fine. I'm not sure what we are missing over here. Anyone any clue? So we got post data dot content HTML, content HTML. This looks good. I'm pretty sure I am making a silly mistake over here. Huh. Okay, let's do this. Wait is allowed. Okay, so we didn't make this an async function. So we missed the async keyword over here. So now since now it is a asynchronous function, and now this should work. Let's see. Let's hope. Awesome. So this is now working, and we now have our website kind of ready, right? If I go back, it shows the list. If I go to a particular page, it gets me the content. First post, we got the content for first post as well. So this is awesome. This is working. Now I want to make a few changes over here. The first is obviously the title. So if you see over here, it's localhost, basically the URL, and this is what we don't usually want, right? So if you check this particular title over here, right, it's render markdown. So it's giving me a information of what this particular page contains. So this is something that I'm gonna add now. So again, I'm gonna go to ID. Now in ID, I'm gonna import head from next slash head. Let's just make sure we are importing it correctly. Yeah, it's head from next. Awesome. And in head, I'm gonna pass a title. And this would be exactly the same as this. So let's do that. Save this. I come back, and you see that now the title is changed, right? Now this looks much more pretty than what we had earlier. So this is really cool, and we got something working, and I kind of like it, and I don't like it at the same time because it is not pretty, right? Uh, hmm. But before doing that, I also want to make sure that I have the link for these pages so that whenever someone visits my blog, they can click on the link and they would be taken to my blog page. So I'm gonna again go to index.js and make some changes. First of all, I don't think I need the date and the title. Sorry, the date and the ID. So I'm gonna quickly remove them. And now we also need to link it, right? And so basically, if you have noticed, the ID was what got rendered. What the path consisted of, right? So if I come over here, second post is the ID, and second post becomes a route, right? So I'm going to use the ID to create the route for us, and over here again, I'm going to use the link component. Let's do href. But one thing we need to make sure. Hmm. Not sure what is wrong over here. I'm trying to understand how I can pass some dynamic information. Hmm. Anyone can help me with this. I want to pass on the ID. I'm not sure how you can do it. And yeah, like I knew how to do it, but I completely forgot. Huh. Awesome. So I'm just gonna quickly take a look. So formatting the date. That is something that is good to have, but I don't want to do it at the moment. So this is where all our CSS goes into place. So util okay. Uh-huh. Awesome. So not something that polishing the index page. I think this is where we would get the information. Okay, gotcha. Awesome. So it's basically in the curly brackets where we are gonna specify uh, a link, right? So now if we go to our website once again, we see that we have posts and then the ID of the post, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna uh, type in slash post because this is gonna remain constant, but not the ID. This is the ID. Let's save this and go back to our website. So, this is interesting. So I am getting the links over here. If I click on one of them, it takes us to a blog. Awesome. So we kind of now have our blog ready. I like this. I kind of like this, and I am really happy that I was able to, achieve this today in just 1 hour. This is pretty good. But I know you would be thinking like, "Hey Herschel, this does not look so pretty at the movement." I know it's okay, but we have the website running functional. We have the functional website, right? So let's go and try to make it look pretty. So what I want to use Tailwind CSS for this, but I want to know what everyone else wants to do over here. Do we want to code our own CSS, or do we want to use a library like Tailwind or Bootstrap? What do you folks want to do today? Tell me. Uh, Cavalier says Tailwind. Awesome. Okay, so we got one vote for Tailwind. What else? What else, guys? Tailwind, two votes for Tailwind. Pretty good. If I don't get a vote for another library, then I'm gonna go for Tailwind. Hey Siddharth, how are you doing? So since I am not getting any of the votes, I'm gonna go ahead with Tailwind, and I'm also kind of a bit biased around Tailwind because I like that library and I've been using it for my website as well. So let's see how we can use Tailwind, CSS, and Next.js. Superm also says Tailwind. Awesome. So now we are just gonna go with Tailwind because a few folks want to go with Tailwind. So we have to import if you are on Next.js version 10. That's interesting. I'm not sure what version I am. Let's check our package JSON file. Huh. Next version 10. We are on version 10. So this is good. So we just have to import this. So let's go ahead and do that. Close the server. Clear my terminal. Import Tailwind packages. Come back over here and let's see. And then you have to create a configure file. Awesome. So let's go ahead and do that. So for the folks who voted for Tailwind, have you tried out Tailwind before, or this is the first time that you are gonna try out Tailwind? Awesome. So we got the required packages installed, and we are now gonna create a Tailwind. What do you call it? A Tailwind config file. I'm just gonna enter it, and it's gonna create a Tailwind file. Awesome. So you see, we got it created two files for us: a Tailwind config.js and a postcss.js. Postcss.config.js looks good to me. Now let's just see. So in Tailwind config, this is the config file that it created. Let's just check it out. Mm, all right. So here is the Tailwind config file. Awesome. So now this file is particularly important around when you want to extend or if you want to make changes to the native Tailwind classes. Let's just say you have a particular color in Tailwind that is, I don't know, maybe red, right? And you want a different shade of red, but you still want to call it red, right? So this is where you can make those changes. Looks good. The next is post CSS file. Hmm, that includes Tailwind and autofix are already configured. Awesome. Configure Tailwind to remove unused styles in production. Hmm. This is really interesting, and I'm going to do that. So what it does is it will basically remove unused styles that we aren't actually using, and we kind of have those styles, right? Hmm. Kevalia says yes, he has used Tailwind. Awesome. So do you want to share the website that you built using Tailwind? I would love to see that. And number one ceiling fan. Actually, I like your name, number one ceiling fan. I have heard of it from others, but I haven't tried it. Huh? You should definitely try it because it really makes it faster to build websites, right? Because with Tailwind, you already have those classes that you can use, so you don't have to write your own CSS. You're gonna see that really soon over here. So include Tailwind in your CSS. All you have to do is import Tailwind. Awesome. So underscore app.js. Where is it? App.js in pages? No. Hmm. So we don't have an app.js file. That is interesting. So I'm gonna go ahead and create an underscore app.js. So the app.js file basically is the main will be the main container, and that would define everything that we want to do in all these other pages, right? So let's just say if you want to add authentication to your website, right? So you would then wrap out the component that is in app.js in that authentication component, so that all the other components in your file can refer to that authentication component. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions. New files underscore app.js. We have that. I have to copy the whole thing now. My app does not look good to me. I'm just gonna call it app. Save this. Include Tailwind in your CSS. Hmm. Okay. Okay. So we don't need this particular step, but we would basically need it if we were planning to use, write our own CSS. But at the moment, I am not planning to write my own CSS. So this looks good to me. Kevela says, I think Tailwind is by Warshell, and I have been associated. Yeah. Tailwind is by the. No, no, no. Tailwind is not by the folks who are behind Warshell. Tailwind is a different organization, right? So it is not by the same people. And so you were associated with them in a hackathon. That's amazing. How did that go? And what did you build? Cool. So we have Tailwind up and running. So let's try out a few classes first. In my index.js, let's just see what happened if there were any changes. The site can't be reached. We forgot to start the development server. I'm just curious, anyone trying out Next.js at the movement, and trying to hook it up with any kind of backend, maybe dev.to, or if you use Ghost, maybe Ghost or Hashnode or something like that. So our server is up and running. Yeah. Hmm. Not sure why it's taking so much long. Okay, so now it's got compiled. Pretty good. Kevalia says it went awful, and that was my first hackathon. I can understand. Even my first hackathon wasn't as amazing as I expected, but then everything went well. It's Jit Halal 1234. Hey, how are you doing? Awesome. As if you see now, the styling changed from what we had earlier, and it is not pretty at the moment. So let's go ahead and change the styling for this. So first thing I want to do is bring everything in the center, and I also don't want now my own custom CSS. So I'm just gonna delete everything from here. Save this. And this does not look pretty at all. So I want the class name over here is title. I'm just trying to recall how we call it in Tailwind. Hmm. Trying to understand what the font size were, but I cannot recall it at the moment. So I'm just gonna go to the documentation. Command K, font size, text. Gotcha. So this is gonna be text, and let's do Excel. Come back. It worked out, but not too good. Let's do text 6XL. I'm not sure if 6XL is a value. Yeah, it's a value. Awesome. Cool. So we got Hello MLH in a much huge font size. We still have this list. But we also want to bring everything in the center. So I'm thinking what we can do over here. So maybe class name equals and then do flex and then justify center. Interesting. So this kind of worked out, but not as I expected it to be. So everything is now in the center, but it's side by side. We want it to be in a column. So maybe we have column, I don't know, flex column or something like that. Let's check. So flex direction column, that's what we want. So we call it flex call. Awesome. This is, why I love Tailwind, because all you have to do is you just have to add classes for whatever you want to do with the CSS, and it works out for us. So now we had flex call, but now it does not. But now it's not in center. Let's see what we can do over here. We don't want the column reversed. Okay. Hmm. Keval, yeah. Any ideas what I can do over here to bring all the content in center? Want to get everything in the center of the page. Something like what I have on my website, right on the center. Hmm. Huh. Interesting. So let's just again go back to the documentation. And let's just see center, justify self, align items or align content. Huh. I'm not sure. What do you think? Should it be align items or align content? Controlling how flex and grid items are positioned along its containers cross access. Not sure again. Anyone who can help me out here. Otherwise, I will end up trying out everything. Hmm. hmm. I don't know. Let's just try it. Item center. Yay! So this worked. Awesome. So item center brought everything in the center of the page. This is good. Kind of working the way we wanted it to work. I also wanted to have a space on the top and bottom. So I'm just gonna add some margin for top. Margin top, this can be 32. Hmm, let's do 64. Much better. Much better. Awesome. And now I'm gonna add a couple of classes to my list as well. We want again this to have a margin top of 16 maybe. Let's see. No, that's too much. I'm just gonna do 8. Awesome. So this is kind of okay. And maybe you want to have a better font as well. LG. Did this change? I'm not sure. I cannot tell the difference. Instead of LG, let's try XL. I think this changed the font size. Let's just take a quick look. So, in over here, UL margin top font size. Yeah, okay. The font size is working over here. That's good. Cool, cool, cool. So we have the font size as well. So anyone, what else do we want to do? What else you want to do? This kind of looks, huh? We still have to structure this as well. Interesting. So we can do that, or we can do something else as well. So this is something that I am kind of also interested in showing you all is showing you an automation workflow, which can which can help you to cross post your articles on different websites at the same time. So currently you might be just writing an article maybe on Medium or div.to or Hashnote, right? But or on your own website too, right? So this kind of limits your audience, right? Because let's just say someone is not using Hashnote or not using dev.to or is not using Medium or is not aware about your website, right? So how do they find your article, right? So one of the good things is to cross post it in different places. So it can be on dev.to, it can be on Medium, it can be on Hashnote, and it can be on your website all at the same time, right? Now, a bit of a frustrating part over here is when you have to when you have to, copy and paste your content on all these different websites, right? Your content is the same, right? And you don't want to do this manual work for each and every content piece that you write, right? And this is where, you can use some kind of automation to make those, to basically cross post it on different platforms, right? So let me know if you are interested in doing that. I would love to, uh, I would love to know if you are interested to, do that. Let me know quickly in the chat. What do you want to see? Do you want to, go ahead, extend this blog, add more styling to it, or do you want to see some automation that we can do to, cross post our articles on different websites? Mm-hmm. Tell me. Also, folks, don't forget to check in if you haven't done already. So here's the link for check-in. So make sure that you check in and register for the event to get the points for your guild. I think we should add a by Herschel from MLH. Huh? Sure. Where do you want to add it? Tell me. Hmm. Do you want it to add it after, I don't know, the title of the article or somewhere over here? Also, also, I would also like to know which guild you are all from. So let's do this. I'm not too sure. All I don't know the name of all the guilds. So let me know in the chat. Which guild you are from. Yeti 2809 says show code. Plahaja gang, nice, awesome. Show code. Show code. Cool. Yeti, that's pretty awesome. Hmm. So let's do this. For every guild, let's have a different post. What do you all say, right? So maybe we have a post for Blahaj Gang. We have a source. We have a post for Shore Code as well, right? So let's do this. Give me some information that we want to display for your guild. It can be, I don't know, a few lines, right? And then we'll create a post for that. We will try to render it out again on our website, and then we'll also as number one ceiling fan suggested, add the name of the author as well. So what I'm gonna do for now is I'm gonna close this IDs, index and post, and in my articles, right, I would do post, first post, and I'm just gonna add a new field that's author suggested by number one ceiling fan, right? I'm gonna add my name over here, and I'm gonna call author over here as well, and I'm gonna again add my name. Now I have the author name as well in both my posts. So let's come back to our pages, index.js. This is where we were referring the author, right? So let's get the author now. Hmm. I'm not sure if we have to make any changes in the all post data. I mean, basically the get sorted post data function. Maybe we do. Let's take a look. No, looks good. We don't have to make any changes over here. So this is the link, and then we have a small p tag which is by, and then the name of the author. I'm gonna save this. Didn't work out as I expected it to be. Why it didn't work out? Hmm. Yeah, now it's working. Awesome. So it didn't actually fetch the information, but now it fetched the information. Pretty good. Pretty good. But maybe this kind of does not look pretty at the movement. So I'm just gonna add some styling over here as well. In the meantime, folks, do share the name of your uh do share the name of your guild as well as a few lines so that we create a post for that as well. The next amazing part would be also to have images for your guild. So if you have a logo for your guild, or a picture of your guild, a picture of you doing events with your guild members, right? So share that as well, and we'll try to embed that image and render it out on a blog post. So for this, I'm gonna do margin bottom, and this would be 4. This looks pretty good. Hmm. I'm still not sure about the author, how I want to style this. So I'm just gonna give it a class name, and text for this I want small, or maybe base if I do. Yeah, this looks pretty good. What do you think, number one ceiling fan? Is this what you were thinking about? Yeah, awesome, awesome. So now I'm waiting for your uh, description for your gangs, for your guild's blog page. So let's change the title as well. Hmm. Create new app. Now this is what I am thinking. So now we kind of have a blog ready. What I want to do is I don't want to basically make it a blog. I want to call it guilds info, right? Something like that. Guild page, and MLH guilds. Right, so here we will basically have the information of all the guilds, and also like the list of all the guilds, and then when we click on that this particular name of the guild, it takes us to that guild's page, and shows gives us some description about the guild. Let's do that. What do you all think? Hmm. Yeah. Yeti says yes. Awesome. So Yeti, I am gonna create a few posts now. This is gonna be a new file, and your guild is called Shorecode. So I'm gonna call it shorecode.md. And then we had one for Blahaja gang. Blahaj gang.md. Number one ceiling fan says this is going to take a lot of creativity for just one line. Yeah, it all depends on you. You are representing your guild. You need to be creative now. Get your guild members together. Get me some description. If you want, we can get some images as well, right? And in the meantime, you folks are sharing your information of your guild. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make page this particular page look bit more pretty, right? So that we can host it as well. So let's quickly do this. So I'm gonna go to post id.js. We have the post title. Awesome. I don't want the ID and the title as well. Sure. But the idea I just don't want a tagline, right? We just don't want to show the tagline. Oops, something went wrong. What went wrong? I'm not sure. Hmm. So it's a div. This is a single React element. Not sure what went wrong over here, but something went wrong. But yeah, what I was saying is we want to show some information of your guild, not just a tagline, right? So give me at least 3 to 4 lines that we can show. And if you also have an image, a logo or an image of all with all your guild members, we can show that on the website as well. And that would be pretty cool. I think the error is because of this particular file. I'm not sure. Let's just check. So we have head and we have the main UL is closing, li is closing. Hmm. This is good. What? It says 404 for the index file. Huh. Not sure what what went wrong over here. Hmm. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna close the server and restart it again in the hopes that this fix everything. Let's just wait it to get compiled. In the meantime, I'm just gonna go ahead to my id.js, wrap this all in a class name, and we will call this container, which is compiled successfully. No. Hmm. Trying to understand what the error is over here. Just gonna comment this out. React.children only expected to receive a single React element child. Page. Okay. Can someone help me out over here? I'm kind of lost now. Not sure what is going on. So we have a link which is taking one element. And I'm not sure if we are using link anywhere as well, are we? No. No. In app.js, no. Hmm. Huh. So we broke our website. Interesting. Hmm. So we have a main tag which is closing. We have every tag that's closing. Not sure what is going on here, but I'm just gonna ignore it for the movement, and I'm just gonna go ahead and start with the styling. So this does not look good. Let's go ahead and change this. Post reader title. Okay. So let's wrap this in H1. I'm gonna give it a class name again, and this is gonna be center. No. Okay. Number one ceiling fan says that I deleted a line of code. Did I? Interesting. Huh. Let's take some steps back. And this is what we did. Go back. No. So up until now it was working when we had the author name. So let's take a few steps back. Get a class name. Okay. Oh, Control S. Hmm. Nope. Nope. Does not look like it. Interesting. So I just changed the title, right? And hmm. And it says that the error is in the link component. So if I comment it out, we shall get the error. No, we don't get the error. Ah, okay, I see. Okay, So and I found out what the error is. So we created posts, right? But this does not have any front matter, and that is why we are getting that error. So let's get the front matter for them first. I'm gonna copy it, go over here. Let's do Lahada Gang, right? And this is gonna be by Lahada Gang, right? And the same for shortcode. So this is gonna be shortcode and shortcode. All right, folks. So we have two gangs over here, two guilds over here. Don't be shy. Just share the name of your guild and a few description of your guild so that we can show it on the website. Awesome. So we have showcode. We have Behada gang. If we go over here, we don't have any information at the moment. It's kind of working for now. Pretty good. I am kind of a noob. Like I haven't been coding in long time, so it is kind of really nice to debug it, code it again, get back to coding again. So I'm gonna call it text center. We got it in center. That's good. And let's do text 6XL. That's way too huge. Maybe 4. Yeah, looks pretty. Noob Master is a cool name. Oh, okay. That's a really cool name. Okay. Awesome. Adding Noob Master as well. So I'm gonna do new file. Yeah. .md. Or do we have it already copied? Yeah. Nice. Noob Master. Noob Master. Save this. And if I go back, we should see Noob Master. Awesome. Awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this date field. Or maybe let's just first go ahead and change the post.js. Now instead of date, let's just do it by title. Right, so we want to sort it by title since date does not matter over here. Refresh this. Ah, okay. So instead of, let's change the condition. Refresh it again. Awesome. No, but wait. This does not look good. B, and I'm sure N should come next, and then S, and then these two files. But what I'm going to do is, since we don't need them, I'm just going to simply delete them. Move to trash, and second post as well. Where is it? Yep. Do a quick refresh. Plahaja, Noob Master, and showcode. Awesome. So this is what I'm going to do now. Instead of just adding some CSS, I'm going to first host it on GitHub pages, right? And then we can and then everyone else can also add their guilds. So I'm going to close the server for now, and let's create a GitHub repo. So let's open GitHub. I hope I'm signed in already. Yep. I'm going to call a new file, and this is going to be mlh builds public repo list of all the guilds for mlh local hack day. Now we have a GitHub repo. And okay, so this is the command that I want. Git remote add. Oops. Yeah. Git remote add. Clear. I'm adding all my files. Submitting a message. Initial commit. Git post origin main. Awesome. So if I just do a quick refresh, we see a code over here. So this is good. So we have a repo for this. So now what I want to do is I want to host it on GitHub pages, right? But I'm not sure how do I host it a Next.js app on GitHub pages. So let's search that as well. Deploy Next.js on GitHub pages. Someone already wrote an article for this. That's really cool. Trying to look for something that's by Next.js themselves, but I don't see anything. Okay. Deploy to Virtual. I don't want to deploy to Virtual of the hosting options. Build there, run start now. Not what I want. Create a Travis build. This I don't want to do this. This would take more time than I want to spend on it. No. Anyone have you done this before? Deployed a Next.js app on GitHub pages? Mm-hmm. Doesn't look good to me at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to deploy it to Virtual then. Setup, push to GitHub, deploy to Virtual. So I already have an account on Virtual. So just need to sign in. log in, continue with GitHub. Hopefully I have it connected with my GitHub account. Yeah, awesome. So now what I want to do is I want to do a new project, and let's search for the repo. Inside this, we are gonna call this. Okay, I need to adjust the permissions first. Configure. Don't worry, folks. This is a bit easy. It is not as hard it seems. So I haven't given Virtual the permission for all my repos. That is why I have to, now give them the permission of only. I only give them the permission of the repos I want them to access. You can give the permission for all the repos. It's completely fine. MLHGL import, select project name MLHGL looks good. Root directory. Yeah. Since it's Next.js, it's gonna be pretty easy with Vercel. They already have their configurations in place. So while it's building, here is the link for the repo. To go ahead and send in a pull request, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some description over here on how you can add your own guild information, right? And yeah, and that's it for now, folks. I will be waiting for a couple of minutes to answer any questions that you might have, and if not, I'll take a leave. Right. So congratulations, awesome. So our website is now up and running. And if I go to mlhguilds.virtual.app, we have mlh guilds, Blahada guy, noob master, and show code. Awesome. So we started off with building our own blog. We kind of ended up building a website for MLH Guild. So this is kind of cool, right? So the concepts here, they remain the same, right? If you want to create the blog, you can just fork this repo, get started. Uh, I'll try to improve the styling for this so that you can, use this repo in your for your own blogs. And maybe let me know if you all want to, learn how we can connect div.to with Next.js. Maybe we can do that as well. Not on MLH's live stream, but maybe on my own live stream. So I kind of do my own live stream as well on weekends. So if you would like, I can, do that as well. So just let me know what if you would be interested. And I have already shared the link for this website that we just created today. So yeah, go ahead, check it out. Currently, it does not have any information. I'm waiting for the gangs to share their information, right? I have a few ideas now coming up for the website, but until and unless you folks give me some information, I cannot do anything over here. All right, folks. Yeti says your stream was very chill and understandable. Enjoyed. Awesome. Thank you for the feedback. I really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining in. But yeah, also make sure that you add your guild information now. It's already on GitHub. Just create a PR and yeah, and we can, then merge it and we can then, see all the guilds and their information on this particular website. And I think if we have enough people involved in the project, like basically a lot of guilds that are listed and information of the guilds, maybe we can get a domain for this as well. I don't know. Maybe. Not sure. Just let me know what you all think. What do you want? What do you all want to do? And again, I'm just gonna wait for a couple of more seconds to see if you have any questions, any feedback, anything that you folks would like to see next in this project. Just let me know. Could you walk us through the process of adding it? That's a really good question. Yes. So I can definitely do that. So the first thing that you might want to do is fork the repo, right? So if you click on fork, it will fork the repo in your own account. Once you fork the repo, get it on your local machine, or maybe not. It's completely fine if you don't want to get it on your local machine. But what you can do is in the post directory, right? If you go to post, if the name of your guild, if the file for your guild it's already not there. Create a file. You can click on add file, create new file, right? This would, I'm just gonna call it example.md. This is an example guild, right? So I would basically add the content over here, right? I can use markdown as well. So if I go to preview, this is a single line of text. But if I use some highlighting by markdown, let's just say no, and this is now an h1 a title over here, right? So this is something that I can do. So maybe I call it. So we won't necessarily need this. Huh. So something very important that I forgot. So we would need the title, which we are basically rendering out on the website. So again, if I go over here, the Haja Gang, this is the title which we are getting from the front matter. So we need the front matter. So make sure that you add the front matter. And I'm gonna go ahead and remove author because having an author does not make sense for guilds at the moment, right? But yeah, so that's the title. And then this is an example guild. Join us to learn and create more examples, right? So something, a title, and then you can also add an image, right? And then I would just create it. Maybe I would just add a commit, something like add example guild, right? Now for you, this would be the same, right? uh hmm. So what I'm going to do is you can just select the commit directly to the main branch option. But to show you how the pull request looks like, I am going to quickly create a new branch and add it to there. EMPL example, cool. Propose new file, right? So this kind of created a new branch, and that's called example. And now you can create a pull request, so the title can remain the same, and then create pull request. So this will create a pull request, right? So if I come in pull request tabs, I can see, okay, a new example guild was created. Pretty good. Now, an interesting thing over here, Virtual would, create this, what do you call it? Virtual will create this preview link for us, right? Which we can later on check to see how our guild looks on the website. We can make again those changes, commit those changes, push it again to GitHub, and yeah, then everything works. And then I can just go ahead and merge those pull requests. So if this is the example, right? The so if you see over here, now we have the example guild. If I come over here, I see the information. I know at the moment it does not look pretty, but if someone wants to help me out to make this look beautiful, I am always open to contributions. So number one ceiling fan, I hope that solved your question. Huh, I already see one pull request coming up. Awesome. That was fast. The Haja Gang is a guild dedicated to watermelons worshipping a shark named the Haja. I really like the description. Good job over there. Let's just see how it looks in preview. Awesome. In the meantime, folks, any last questions or any last minute notes before we hop off? Hmm. Nothing. Nothing yet. Interesting. Okay. No problem. Let me just quickly share the check-in link and the registration link. Just don't forget to check in and register over here. So we have Blahaj Gang PR up and running. Let's see how it looks in the preview. So Blahaj Gang. So we got the image and we got the description. Awesome. Nice work. This is cool. So the next step over here would be to make it look pretty. But I'm just gonna go ahead and merge this pull request. And thank you for the pull request. Confirm it. And now we can see it on our main website as well. Once it is, the whole website is built again. Awesome. All right, folks. Thank you for joining in. I hope you learned something new today. And I am looking forward to adding more guilds to our website. Awesome. Thank you all for joining in and have a great day ahead and happy hacking. Take care.